Okay, so I got asked um, in my comments the other day how to manage fighting and business, and obviously I'm quite a good person to ask about this because, of course, I literally last year I started my business. I scaled it to 20K a month, and at the same time of scaling my business, I also had like six boxing fights and won my first boxing title. So I'm a pretty good person to talk about this because I've literally like hardcore scaled a business and hardcore focused on boxing both at the same time simultaneously. And there you go. So let's talk about that. So first of all, if you haven't watched my previous video about the savage mentality, go watch that, because in order to make this work, in order to successfully scale a business whilst also focusing on fighting, you need to be a savage. You need to embrace that savage mentality because it's going to be difficult. Understand that. There's no like answer that I can give you to make it easy to somehow manage a business and manage boxing at the same time, because it's a difficult thing. It takes a lot of focus to build a business. It takes a lot of focus to learn to fight and commit yourself to combat sports. But we are savages. We are here to lead the crusade, showing men, leading by example and focused on self improvement. And of course, if anyone's going to pull this off, it's us, right? If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be us. We need to do this. This is our duty. A lot of people, they like to cope. They like to make excuses. They like to make out that it's impossible to manage both. If you're a savage, you'll find a way to make it work. People severely underestimate themselves in the world. People severely underestimate how much they can achieve if they truly put their mind to it. There's like, there's a lot of hours in a day, right? There's maybe like 15, 16 hours of you being awake per day. You can get a lot done in like, let's say just 12 hours. Let's just say you was awake for 12 hours a day. Even though you're awake for more than that, we'll give you some leeway. Let's say you're awake for 12 hours a day. You can do a lot in 12 hours a day, right? Considering to train for a boxing fight, you don't need more than 2 hours a day to be able to train. That still leaves you with another 10 hours a day to focus on your business. Though I don't see that the difficulty here. Like, okay, of course, like, yes, if you're going out, you're with your friends all the time, and like you're playing video games, you're watching movies, or you're going to the cinema. Oh, amazing! Of course, if you're doing all of this other gay stuff on the side, then it's going to be hard to find time to do the training and the business. But if you go through periods of just pure focus, then it really actually is pretty easy to manage your time. For example, I box 3 times a week. I box 3 times a week. I go to gym 4 times a week. I go gym 4 times a week, and I box 3 times a week. That's not that hard to manage. And then if I've got a fight coming up, okay, maybe I'll box 4 times a week, and I'll go gym 4 times a week, and then I'll add like a little morning run in there every single day as well. Like, it's not that hard. That's not that much time, right? So if you are the type of person now where it's like, okay, you're struggling to manage things, you just gotta organize your time better, really. You've just got to make sure you block out deep work in the morning, because deep work is going to mean you get so much more work done in less time. There's a great book on this by Cal Newport called Deep Work. And yeah, like if you start implementing deep work into your morning routine, like is you're not going to need 10 hours a day to run your business when you can run it probably on 5 hours a day and get the same amount of work done. That's the power of deep work. What I recommend doing, my perfect daily routine in order to manage boxing and business, is I would wake up in the morning as early as you possibly can, as early as possible. For me, I wake up at around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I know that's not very early, but I go to bed quite late. Wake up as early as possible, and then fast. Don't eat anything. Don't eat any food. Just drink water. That's it. Just drink water. And just get your deep work done in the morning. Maybe 3 hours, 4 hours of deep work before you have your breakfast, before you have any food, and use that to just try and get as much work done as possible. If you do this every single morning, I promise you, you'll be more productive than 99% of people in the world. You do this, you get loads and loads of work done in the morning, and then you'll have your food, and then maybe depending on your routine, maybe you'll go to gym after breakfast or something, or maybe you'll have your breakfast and just go back to the office and continue working. Because again, like, as long as you've got like a couple of hours in the evening, then you can commit your time to boxing or learning combat sports or bulking or whatever it is, right? Let's say, okay, now you're committing 7 hours a day to your business. As long as you're putting a lot of focus in those 7 hours, you can get a lot done. And then in the evening, just go boxing training or kickboxing training or whatever combat sport it is. It doesn't have to be difficult. This question I just find mad, like, how do you manage boxing and a business? I mean, it's like it's like, how do people manage anything in boxing? How do people manage anything in a business? It's not like business owners, their whole life is business. They still have family, they still have friends, they still have hobbies, they still have things they enjoy doing. Same with professional athletes, same with boxers. It's like you can manage multiple things at once, but you're just going to have to go through seasons. When I was, obviously building my business from scratch and I had like 6 boxing fights in a year, yes, I had to make sacrifices. I couldn't, I didn't really have much of a life in that period. I was just focused. But that was 1 year of my life that gave me such an incredible foundation. You don't have to dedicate a whole year of your life to building a business and having boxing fights. You could maybe just have 2 boxing fights in a year. And a fight camp for a boxing fight is typically about 8 weeks. So, okay, for 8 weeks, you're probably not going to have a life while you manage your fight camp and your business. But then after the 8 weeks is done, your friends and your family, they'll understand, they'll support you, they'll get it. They understand that you're training for a fight. And then after the 8 weeks is done and you finally knocked the fuck out of your opponent, it's going to be even more of a celebration because everyone's proud of you. Your family are proud of you, that they're grateful for the amount of work that you've just put in for this. They know that it's going to make you a better man. They know that you're doing this to better yourself. They're going to be proud of you. You're going to be grateful. And because you've had this build up where you've made those sacrifices and you've put that work in, that means it's even more enjoyable and you're going to enjoy life so much more because you're not taking that stuff for granted, the stuff that you had to sacrifice, the spending time with your family and stuff like that. And yeah, and then you can just have good vibes after you've knocked the fuck out of your opponent. Because that's what professional fighters do at the end of the day. They literally go do a fight camp somewhere in the mountains or something, away from their family, and then they don't see their family until after the fight. You can do that, bro. Literally, your business is just the same. It's always the same. Nothing changes with your business. You've got your daily routine that you do with your business, but make sure to incorporate deep work into there. And then, yeah, you're just training boxing or combat sports a couple of times a week. There you go. That's all you've got to do. And then when you've got a fight coming up, you can just focus a little bit more towards the boxing and just cut out some of the other distractions on the back end. It's not that hard to manage boxing and business. This is coming from me. I had 6 boxing fights. I won a title. I scaled a business from 0 to 20k a month. It doesn't have to be difficult, boys. You're just coping. To be honest, you're just underestimating yourself. If you're a savage, you're gonna find a way to make it work. And yeah, I know there is a lot of savages watching this as well. So you boys, trust me, you got this. And I think every single guy out there, especially if you're building a business, you need to learn to fight. You need to have a fight. Screw the business. I prioritize me knowing how to fight way more than having a business. Truly. Yes, okay, it's amazing that you want more out of your life. You want to be able to protect and provide for your family. But if you can't even fight, then, what's the point? You can't protect and provide if you can't fight anyway, So you need to learn how to fight. And I think you're going to get the most character development out of anything by going out there into the ring and having a fight with a man in front of hundreds of people. Like the character development that you build from that, there's nothing that comes close to it. So go out there, learn to fight, boys. Subscribe for more content like this, and as always, keep grinding.